Good afternoon, everybody. You're welcome to this show once again. We have amazing panel right here. So we'll just have a quick round of introduction, starting from our left.
From behind or in front?
Yeah, the rule says ladies first, so we'll have the ladies first. So we'll have... Hi everyone, I'm Doreen. Nice to meet you. Hi, I'm Liz. Over to you.
I'm Ronald. I'm Joshua. Hello everyone, George.
Thank you very much. So we welcome you again. Today is a very good topic that we have. We're going to have a discussion on exes with children or babies, alright? How do you cooperate when you have an ex, regardless whether they've moved on, but they have your child, yeah? The lady has your child, and you have moved on, you have left her. You probably have a child, and you've moved on and left your baby mama, yes? How then do we have the two parties co-parent harmoniously? Keeping in mind the welfare principle is paramount, the rights of the children, to live in the protected. Yeah, so that is what we're going to be discussing today. So, buckle up guys, this discussion is just getting started. Yes, so guys, that is our topic for today. Yeah, and I thought it's important that we know that let's keep it respectful as we present. Be very careful and sensitive because the topic is sensitive. Yeah, to all the baby mamas out there, all the baby daddies out there, we got you covered, right? Yeah, so maybe we can start hearing from an opinion on the baby mama's side. I'll go first. Yeah. When you have a child with a man, right? Regardless of what differences you get in life, you have to move on. Yeah? It's my opinion that it's important that this man and this woman should keep communication flowing. Particularly, one of the reasons is because in case of emergency, let me be specific. Emergency may be fine, but if it's a medical emergency, yes? Setting aside the standard maintenance activities, we all know the routine activities, you know, particularly with medical, it's a different situation. It's very important that the lady must, I repeat, you must call him, yeah? Call him and inform him that your child, both of your child, yeah? When I say you, I mean yours and his, is unwell, and he needs to be informed in case it's extreme, because you know, for medical reasons, ailments may take a different twist. You might need vaccination, consent, and all that. You might get cash strapped, you don't have the money, yeah? So you might need support. So please, feel free to call him, text him. Communication is very important. So that is my first point for today. Maybe you can hear from any of the members right behind me. Thank you. Guys, take it out.
Is that you, Ronald, or George?
No, it's okay with me. So on my side, yes, baby mamas can be stressing, can be an issue, yes. But it's our responsibility as parents, to honor the fact that we have children. It is our responsibility to are part of the life of those children as well. This is the hard part since we used to have your family and you have your family and then you have this other baby out of wedlock. So in our midlife situation as men, this can be stressing because of financial reasons. sometimes you don't want to keep it away. So that may affect the communication, I understand. So about that communication is the most important. The most important part of the development. It needs to be clear that I have a kid. For the well-being of that child, for those children, you need to be clear on that relationship with your new spouse or with your old spouse. In this case, we're looking at two scenarios. One, when you have your own family, as we have said, then you have a baby out of wedlock, or you have more family, and you want to start a new one, you want to move on. So in the first case, you have a family, you have a child out of wedlock. Ideally, it must be preventable before. But in this generation where 20% of the women are already single mothers, we cannot help but also put ourselves to the blame as men. If we were faithful enough, we could not have gone to 30%. Now 20, 30, 40, 60, up to 30% of women are single mothers. So these single mothers are baby mothers. And this is where the issue comes. In the first opinion, if you don't declare it, you have your family, you want to keep it tight, you will compromise on the communication. To compromise on the communication, you're going to have issues with emergencies, you want to know the welfare of your child, you want to be very supportive because you have lack of education. In the second opinion, where you want to move on, plan to have a child with this lady, my opinion would be accepted and make it very clear in the second opinion. Make it very clear that you want to draw lines. Okay, if it's stopping the relationship with the mother, then you stop it, because some of us have an issue where you want to continue the relationship. But then you don't want to so you can't continue the relationship, but you should maintain minimum communication. That is my initial two scenarios. Someone else could add to that. George now.
Is that me or Dr. Doreen you're talking about?
Okay, no problem, I can take it from there. For me, this topic really speaks. It speaks priorities, speaks honesty, speaks boundaries. So I think the bottom line, we can start with the priorities. Because I feel the priority are the children. And the moment you streamline that the priority are children, then you're going to know how to actually, how to really manage your baby mama, your current partner. Because if your priority is children, clearly there should be very clear communication, right? Like Liz has mentioned and Moga, that communication should be there, but it should also be open. Now, I'm expecting for me, my expectations are the baby mama should be able to communicate and openly, but with boundaries. What are the boundaries? The communication should be strictly about children, right? If child or children could have one or two, because my understanding of that topic is you're moving you've left from a relationship and you're with another person, a new partner, or you actually had a child out of wedlock. So clearly that person is not in the picture, but the children are, because they will always be. So the priority are the children. The communication should be that you should be able to communicate. Maybe you need to support with school fees, you need to support with even sometimes people have partners and their partners actually are not even working, right? And clearly means actually, that's why I even want to ask, how far should you even support, by the way? I think the guys, I don't know, because for me I'm a bit naive about all this. I think the guys will help us answer this question. how far should you even support such a family? Are you going to strictly keep it to the children because this is the priority? Or you're actually going to go around even buying gifts for that baby mama? That's why I'm talking about the boundaries. Where are the boundaries in all this, right? Because my expectation could be that if it's strictly about the children, you're providing. If she doesn't work, for example, you either empower her to get somewhere so that at least she can be able to take care of the children when you're not present. Because we also have to think about the fact that anything could happen to you, but you have children out there and you're not sure about how these two ladies will be able to relate. Yeah? So it's important that even the other person is at some level empowered so that he's able to take care of the children in case you're available or not, right? And in case she's probably working, so I'm expecting we're supporting maybe with school fees, that's with the big stuff, school fees and then health, because that's key. If you can afford, you can buy health insurance, or also have a fixed amount of money you're sending her. But in all this, I feel like the new partner should know what exactly. So you should be open from the word go, as all of you have mentioned, from the word go. Nation, I have someone, we have children, and this is how we plan to co-parent, right? Because amidst all this, you could want to see the children. The question is, when do you see the children? How do you see the children? Yeah? Because I know and I've seen this whereby he's saying he's going to see the children, but he's sleeping at the baby mama's place, right? So the question is, why are you sleeping at the baby mama's place? Is it that you want her time, a cuddle time? Is this in the visibility of your new partner? Is she okay with it? You know? So again, those are the boundaries I'm talking about. So it's priorities, it is boundaries, it is honest. The moment you're not honest about everything, you're going to have issues in the two relationships. And before you know it, there is emotional torture on either your new partner, even yourself, or even the other lady. Because sometimes it's unclear whether the person, it's always unclear for the new partner if you're not open, if you don't lay down what her expectations should be, because now she doesn't know how you're relating with the other person. There will always be suspicion, there will be loss of trust, there always, so you won't be happy. That's my submission for now.
Thank you.
Yeah, I hope that the guys will be able to tell us more about the boundaries, because as ladies, maybe we may, because we are emotional beings, but doesn't mean that we don't think through things, right? We also use our brains most of the time, and I'm wondering, where are the boundaries in this? I could really want to hear from the guys. Also the lady here, because she could definitely know what her boundaries should want to be, because for me this topic strictly speaks on those three things. It is priorities, it is boundaries, and it's honesty.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Wow. Thank you very much, Jen. I think we've had that submission. Maybe for clarity, thank you, Doreen. For clarity, you talked about boundaries, and from your submission, I was thinking, should there be financial boundaries in terms of if he has set up a business for me, the ex with the child, okay, or the other way around, because I know that some ladies who are, anti-money, yeah, you set up something and your ex is running it, so does that mean they're not allowed to ask you for any financial support? In terms of boundaries in communication, should I call him or should he call me any time of the night? Yeah, even when he or she is well aware that the ex has moved on. Yeah, despite them having the child, they've moved on. So should that be a boundary in terms of that communication as well? Or it should remain open 24/7? Yeah, that's just for clarity. Then we'll hear a submission from the guy.
Okay, so for me, when you talk about boundaries, thanks for this question. Like, what is clear is like, to be sincere, if a kid, that's why I said, what is the priority for children? Yeah. If the child is not unwell, why are you texting him at night? Why are you calling him at night? There should be a very clear boundary. Talking about what? The exes who always want to bring back up, you remember this, do you whatever they had and everything, memories, right? I think it's very unfair. The person has moved on, allow them have a new relationship in peace, right? If he has chosen and he has actually made it clear to you, I've moved on with someone, and allow them be happy, right? You shouldn't be able to call at night. If you must call at night, I'm expecting that the kid is unwell. That's why we're saying the priority of the children. The kid is unwell, make that call, even though it's 3 a.m. in the night, right? Make that call. But the boundaries really have to be done. We talked about businesses and all. The business aspect, I talked about the fact that you find that, men can date from whatever levels of life, right? So you find that he has someone, and this person maybe is not fortunate enough to have a job, or even just have a decent job. Maybe he has, but it's not like really bringing in enough. And maybe the gentleman is doing well, right? Which means he can support this woman. Now the support is limited again. This support for me is more like, instead of this lady calling you every day, we don't have sauce, we don't have sugar, we don't have salt. I feel the lady, that the new partner, should be able to actually support this man into helping this lady. Probably put up something. Of course, this gentleman will know the lady's strengths and weaknesses. So we'll know if this lady can run a particular business. All this is his strength, and he could use that to make money. We support that lady in that, and it's a one-off. It's not, we're not doing handouts, right? For me, I feel it's like a one-off. Like maybe start up, like get the lady, like maybe have your 10 million, go stand up something, so that at least you don't have to be asking for sugar, salt. But I have to pay tuition, I have to pay for healthcare, right? And then that way you're also cutting that communication, the constant communication, because they are bound to go off board, believe me. They'll always go off. They'll be like, I'm not doing fine today, today what, That's why, like, priority is the child, strictly let's talk about the child. And if you limit your communication to the child, that way you're going to have peace in your new relationship. The moment you miss that, you're going to doubt, mistrust, a lot of things can really, come out. Yeah. I hope I don't fail that.
Thank you for that clarification. Guys, take the mic. Yeah. I want to hear from you now.
Joshua, again. My opinion, first of all, children are a blessing from God. There I'm speaking like a Christian. So, children are a blessing from God. When you get a child, from wherever you get that child, it's a blessing. Both the lady and the man. Now, talking about boundaries, I believe that both of you are adults. There is no...
You mentioned that word before.
I believe that both of you are adults, and no one was forced into something. And you having this child together shouldn't be a burden. So, if this shouldn't be a burden, it means that you should both understand as adults, okay? Something happened, probably both of you did not want it. If both of you wanted it, okay, then that's handled differently. But if both of you did not want it, it happened, you don't punish the child. The child is born to be happy, to live, to get a life, and also be someone in future. So your issues, your problems, your differences shouldn't in any way affect the child. Now, when you're no longer together, assuming you were together, or if it was something that just happened, where people meet for once and something, happened, then you need to be clear. As adults, this child is your responsibility, both of you. So, by nature, and as a Christian, we are told that the man should be the one taking the lead in taking care of the family. And in this case, this child is part of the man's family. However much she's also part of the lady's family. Okay? Now, when you're not together, this relationship should be purely about the child, in my opinion. It should be purely about the child. The needs and requirements and need for affection for any of you should not come in. It should be purely about the child. If the man is married, okay, or if the lady is married, if the lady is married to someone else, it's obvious. They will tell this man, they will know, they will come with this child. You can't hide your child. But I've seen scenarios where men tend to keep this away from their wives. The first solution is to make sure your wife is aware of it. That's the first solution if you're married. Or if you're dating someone, the first thing is to make sure they are aware that you have a baby, you have a child, okay? And the mother of that child is so and so. And that solves the problem partially, okay? Now, when it comes to the real boundary of who should call when, what activities can we do together, in my opinion, it should be purely about the child. When the child gets sick, like Doreen had said, okay, if a child is sick, in my opinion, I do not expect you to call me that, to tell me that the child has a headache. I do not expect that. You should only call me at night. I'm meaning at night, I mean 3 a.m. and it should only be when it is an emergency. Child being sick, we all get sick. It's to me, it's something normal, okay? You should be able to take this child to a nearby facility. You calling me may not solve that. Among the things that the man should be doing for the child is to make sure the child gets good health care. But good health care does not come when the child is sick. You have to prepare for that. Make sure the resources are available. Make sure the resources are available. If I do not like the baby mama to call me all the time, then I should put everything in place to avoid her calling me all the time. I should put it in place. And it should also be clear to her, okay? The means of communication must be clear. Some people actually do not like the calls. They will say no. For anything, WhatsApp. Only emergency. That's an example. For anything, text message. Unless it's an emergency. When I see the call, when I see her call, or when someone sees the other's call, they will know this is purely an emergency. The needs of the other person in the relationship purely are their responsibility. They are purely their responsibility. If one feels like giving you something, okay, if they feel like maybe when I give the mom, when I set up a business for the mom, I will also be helping my child, then they will do it. But it shouldn't be a requirement. It shouldn't be that you must support me because I have your child. I do not believe that. Because both of you are adults, you're supposed to curb your ways. That's my opinion.
Thanks. Just to add on that, on boundaries, we say that's good for communication, or many modes of communication. On boundaries, still on communication, I believe the communication should be start with the father of the child. I don't think someone else should be involved. Like, I don't expect my wife to be in communication with my ex-girlfriend. Okay, so that one is something very clear.
Okay.
I can't even hand her the responsibility to resource her.
You know where that starts? That starts exactly from the fact that you're probably not as open. The moment you're not open, then she wants to understand what exactly is going on. That way, she may have to get involved. I've seen actually ladies, I know that I come from that same school of thought, but I've seen ladies whereby if you have to send money to your baby mama, you give it to me and I send it.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. If your wife wants to get involved or get to know, because women are sensitive, they want to know how much you're giving that lady. And are you maintaining it? So that is about communication. Then we go to the relationship itself. One of the limits I would really advise is you stop the relationship itself with the other lady, because you made it clear you are not interested with that lady. You only had the baby. It was a big mistake. You don't even intend to do this again. So,
Mistake? Did you say mistake?
if it was a mistake, that's for your
There's
what
no
you say.
mistake in that. Well, it's consented,
Yeah, but it's
conjugal
something that
activity.
wasn't warranted. let's say.
The moment you remove your pants and you don't choose protection, you should be ready for the circumstance.
Yes, which is okay.
Yes.
But we're in Africa. I'm talking as an
There's
African
nothing,
man.
there's no child that is born out of a mistake, please.
But in Africa, there is polygamy. In Africa, we come from, let me just take it back to where we come
No,
from.
I just want to say, let's take out the mistake thing.
Take the mistake out, please.
Where, by the way, this has happened.
Yeah.
Like, one of the parents really didn't want, and most of the time it's men that you're like, you know what, let's not have this child. But the lady already decided, no, I'll have this child. So there, you can't say, you can't force her to do anything apart from that. Yes, it's not a mistake, but for her, she has chose that.
There is no mutual consent for
Yes.
men.
So
In
that's what
having the
that's what I
child.
was- Yes.
But
that's what I was
in
saying.
having the conjugal activity.
That's so it's never a mistake. You both really want to.
Guys, I hope you're also aware that abortion is illegal in Uganda.
I will.
Yes.
Go that
So
far.
I'm just continuing with the boundaries.
Yeah.
You stop the relationship. I don't expect you to still have sexual relationship with that lady. So that will cut out a lot of things. Boundary number one. Boundary number two. Sometimes when we cannot stay out of these people's lives, like in Africa here, as I was telling you, we take a look back a little so that we see where we come from. We come from extended families. We have seen this. Fathers, grandfathers have had kids out of wedlock with many, and you see how they deal with it. We're not any different. We're just respecting the fact that this is a new generation, and we're dealing with our immediate families, and there is lots of finance and things like this and that. However, these things happen. I've just mentioned 30% of ladies out there having babies with people who are not really attached to them. So we're talking for 30% of the women out there who are dealing with this situation. One boundary that is very clear that you have to make at the onset is you have to accept the fact that this is your child. Some men still doubt the child. If you still have all these doubts, you can do DNA and all the confirmatory tests you want to do. You can do them as early in the child's life as possible to just rule it out. Don't wait till it's 15, 17 years, then you want to do a DNA test. So the child will have suffered for half of their life, without his identity. Boundary number 3 is you're the father. Maintain being the father. Single mothers really struggle with children, and the children suffer more because if the mother ideally wasn't very happy about the whole situation of breakup or not being involved, then the child will take a toll on this. So for your child's sake, be there for your child. Okay? Make the communication about the child, as we said, as one of the boundaries, but also give time. As part of the boundaries, create time for this child, create a routine in this lady's life that you have time for the child. Just giving all this aid isn't sufficient, actually. The child needs a fatherly figure in their life. Boundary number 5, I'd say, give this lady back her life. She should be open to have another relationship without you interfering. It's very important that she understands she has her life back. She can make her own decisions. You're not there to spy and follow up. It's not that. It doesn't work like that. If that is made very clear, and there's that, then you're opening doors for her to get more people in her lives. She won't be very clingy. The needs, her personal needs, can be catered for by someone else. Then at least you can limit your responsibility to the child. At least I've seen about 5 boundaries there. There's communication, just to run back through them. There is the relationship itself, intimate relationships. There is boundaries on how you manage finance and all that. Setting a routine, if it is amount of money that's supposed to be welfare or insurance packages or something, it should be there. It should be timely, it should be consented, it should be something you can go and pick advice on if you need a mediator or a third party to come and witness. I'm not saying you're going to court like another marriage, but you need someone else to come in, because some, just to tell you, the dilemmas can be war. Sometimes there can be drama, lots of drama. Some are very bitter about this whole relationship. Some won't have you to progress with your other relationship, and they do whatever to see that they destroy that. So the other boundary was to make sure she gets her life, she can let her have another relationship. Just like how you moved on, or how you're preserving your old relationship with your family, she should be able to have that with her life. So all these boundaries are very important, and I believe George also has something to add on that.
On the boundaries?
Yes.
But you're open. That's okay.
Well, for the viewers who will be watching this, almost everything has been said by my colleagues here. I'll just hit on some points here that I'm not saying I'm the expert of this, but there are things we keep thinking that actually drama comes from one side. Actually, 99% of people out there think that baby mama is the only one who have drama. But that's not true.
Daddies have drama as well. Yeah.
So we can't just be like, oh no. So it's a bit tricky. We're talking about it like an easy thing, but it's a very tricky and a very sensitive situation when it comes to baby mamas and baby daddies. So if you're still single, to me, I believe if you're still single, it shouldn't be tricky or hard. Most especially both parents are still single. That's baby mama and baby mama. Yeah, you guys can do your own thing. But once you're not single, one of you, if you're not single, it becomes very tricky. Because this time I'm just going to talk about men, because if a lady is in a relationship with a man, some men get really insecure, like, why are you still talking to this man? As much as this lady is only communicating about the child. So some men also can be really dramatic. So like for me, when I listen to what we're saying, and not saying I've been there, probably I have, but it is difficult to deal with both sides. But all I can say is we just need to understand, and maybe when change communication. The first thing you talk about your new partner, your girlfriend, or wife, or it's just inform them, you know what, I have a baby out there. You just make, or you pray that this person understands you. Otherwise, there's always that thing that doesn't go away. You still have feelings for that person. And it makes that thing very hard. As much as you still remember, like what you guys are saying, the child is just in the middle. He or she, just in the world, she just came, you guys both have, or in this universe, she doesn't know anything, but because you two big human beings, very mature, don't put out all your misunderstandings or your conflicts of feeling, you just focus on one thing, and that's the baby. So, for me, what I can advise people is just before we get into feelings, just first respect that young person or baby. That really, he or she has nothing to do with this situation. He was just brought by two adults who failed. By the way, can't say it's a mistake. Sometimes things fail. Maybe that time you guys were in love. You thought this thing would work out, and it failed.
Family planning.
Yes, and now you're in this situation. So I just hope that sometimes we can put that aside, which is not an easy thing, by the way. It's easy said, by the way, but I've seen people struggle with that, and most of the time it's the baby that gets hurt, because either the father or your mother is stuck with the husband who's saying, no, I don't want you to communicate with that guy. And now the guy can't communicate to the baby. Now the baby is missing out on the love of the father. Or it's the other way around. You're stuck with a woman who's saying, no, don't talk to your baby mama. And then the baby, the other side, doesn't get the chance to talk to the what? The father. So it's good you guys are mentioned about informing your wife or your girlfriend or whatever, or your husband or your boyfriend. That is very true. You need to do that right away. And then hope for the best. Now, co-parenting. Again, it's both sides. It can be a man who's being so dramatic. And when it's a man, it's always hard. At least for us men, we always find a way to go out there and talk to baby mama and all that. But if it's a lady, as an African culture, or the way we hear, we feel like, oh, it's me to tell you what to do and all that. Which is the benefit of that. Just move on. But when it's a man who's trying to stop the lady to communicate to the father of the child, and then at the same time, you who is stopping the lady to talk to the baby daddy, you're not really to give everything for that child. Now that becomes very tricky. I don't know anyone watching or anyone on this panel has gone through that. That becomes very tricky. So, guys, let's just let baby mamas, if we can. We're not saying we will let them go spend a night at the father of the child. We don't expect you don't expect your girlfriend or your wife to carry flowers to the baby daddy. No, but at least give her a chance to talk to the baby daddy if the consent is actually strictly to the what? To the child or for the child. One more thing, and this one, my colleagues and the people who are going to be watching here, this is for free. And I've had you saying that this is very, very important, Ronald. And I'm doing this because I know how this. Please let your wife actually deal with your baby mama. It is very important, and it makes life very easy. Because once they get to know each other, once they understand, you're out of it. Me personally, I'll tell you this. I don't have straight communication with my baby mama. Even when the children are coming to my home or anything, it's actually between my wife and the baby mama. All I will get to know is like, Sophie has been given and all that. But of course, it's my money. The baby mama will understand that really it's not your wife giving that money to her. It's your money, but it has come from your wife, because at the end of the day, she's the one running the house. Believe it or not, they actually run the home. So if you guys want to avoid a lot of issues between your wife or your partner with your baby mama, actually let both of them, your wife and your baby mama or your girlfriend, deal. And that takes away a lot of insecurity. It takes away a lot of thinking. Yeah. So for me, I would advise you, Ronald, or anyone watching or anyone here, if you have your wife, just let the communication go. And if things work out, it gives you very much peace. What if it doesn't? Now that's a different thing. Then,
Under what circumstances won't it work out?
Yeah, when your wife is like, I don't want to hear about that lady, to hell with her.
Oh, okay.
Now that's a different thing. Now there you still have to find a way.
Because she doesn't have a tie with that lady. She doesn't care about that kid.
Yeah, but you need to
There's no
reassure her
responsibility.
that it's about the child, that it's not about the lady.
See, most times that happens if this child comes into the picture when you're already married, when you're already living. if the lady finds you with a child already, it's a different story.
Yeah, totally different.
When you're married and then you get a child
Out of wedlock.
out of
That's the
wedlock,
scenario.
that's when that always happens. Because your wife or your girlfriend, if it's a girlfriend, or the lady you're with, feels betrayed. And that sense of betrayal tends to make them become become bitter and resentful. They do not want to know anything about somebody who is trying to antagonize them. So, in that case, my opinion is you should inform her. She should get to know about it. She should be aware, okay? You should try to make her, get to know the other person if possible, okay? But if there is a lot of backlash, then you should keep it purely between you and the baby mama.
How much does she need to know? Or how much can she get involved? Because when you manage it, which is contrary to what George was saying, when you manage it by yourself, then she's inquisitive.
Listen,
so how much care you give, how many times you're calling, how many times
because
you
you're
want
not
to
being
visit.
open.
Yes.
Because you're not being open.
Yes.
Partially, Moga, this lady, your wife, might be thinking this guy might be trying to marry a second wife.
Right, because it's happened before.
Yes. So, you shouldn't also judge her too much for the way she's reacting. Perhaps she's also trying to fight for what she thinks is hers.
Yeah.
So, you shouldn't try to enforce something on her. Okay? Especially something that is your own making. It's a mistake on your side. You should try to be the solution. So by being the solution, you have to let her know this is there. Let her know exactly how you're handling it. Okay? Either you will be talking to this lady to ask how the child is doing. Okay? How often? Of course, not every day. Okay? Probably once a week. Okay? Probably once a month if the child has grown, okay? And you should be able to let your wife know that in cases of emergency, please don't be surprised when I receive a call from so and so, okay? It will be purely about the child. Then you should also try to build in her, it comes with time, you try to build in her a sense of embracing this new child, okay? So that in future, this child can actually come and pay you a visit, okay? And stay in your home. And maybe when your wife gets to know that actually this guy is not trying to marry a new wife, this guy, something happened and it happened, then maybe she will stop being, harsh on that situation. She will also try to support you in being the solution. But initially, you have to respect the fact that she's trying to be protective and she's feeling betrayed.
Maybe just to add a thing, I agree with John's point where he also says that maybe you have to let this person be with the other baby mama. Now, in an event that they can't, which actually Joshua has explained well, that it's mostly when this child was sired out of wedlock, like out of marriage, you were married and then you went out. So for me, what I expect, I could be wrong, I don't know whether it's practical, is for you to actually bring that child in our home. Wait, you bring that child in our home, of course, with consent from the mother, and you need to, ages of again, ages of fact, I'm going to take you, of course, I'm expecting that you're taking the child that is probably already school going. I know you're going to tell me that you should be above 16 or 18, depending on where you're located, if it's a girl, or if it's a girl, but bottom line is, we're of course going to look at the other lady. That is, again, if the guy is open enough, you're going to have to look at where you sired this child. Which kind of woman the person is, right? And if you sit and agree that for this girl to really grow up with her father, and also, because I mean, even the other lady will know that you ended someone's marriage, right? I'm expecting that you should. It could be like I'm also trying to get a man or something, I don't know, but for me, I'm expecting you should be able to agree to have this child in our home. And in an event that the man doesn't trust the wife enough, because yes, some of us ladies are not very nice to our stepchildren. Yeah, we are not very good stepchildren. It is okay for the man to be uncomfortable and let the woman know, I don't like the way you're treating this girl, I'll take this girl back to their home. Now, it's on you, the stepmom. You've screwed your entire life out just by mistreating someone else's child. So if he decides to take the child back to their mother, you need to deal with the consequences, because some men will always go back the other side, have someone return, and that is where I want to get to and ask these gentlemen here about the co-parenting. How and when is it supposed to be done? Like that bit of like, I want to see the children on the other side or the child on the other side. How is it supposed to be done? How do you expect it to be done? I think for me, I've never understood how that is supposed to be done.
I do not.
Oh, maybe we have on the lady first. What is your expectation? Yeah, because you're quiet. What's your expectation on co-parenting? Like, how is he going to be able to see the child? Because I think all of us are agreeing on the fact that the priority is the child.
Yeah.
Now, you're trying to co-parent with that child. So the question is, what are your expectations? How is he going to have to deal with the child? How is your husband, for example, going to have to deal with that child of yours that is out of your relationship?
Wow. So, thank you.
Indian sport?
Well. I would think it's important that prior notice is given. For example, I don't expect you to just say, hey, I've sent a driver over, I need my child. We have a birthday for his stepbrothers and sisters. Oh, I'm having the child for Christmas season, a whole month, you know? No. You need to, one, let me know prior. Two, I might not be comfortable letting my child come to sleep over at your house. Yeah, this is on ground. I would want to bring my maid, you know, somebody I trust. Just no sleepovers, you know, we have to just sit down, agree on some simple, basic, you know, operational rules, really. Yeah, no sleepovers, fine, the child will stay the whole day, eat, yeah, we meet in public places, because you might not know what allergies or, you know, certain situations the child might be having, you know. Yeah, so we first streamline that, that's a first thing, yeah. So whether you can, let me just step there for now. Gentlemen, take over.
Thank you.
My opinion is that initially, okay, there is no contract, okay, because the child is still very young, okay. The lady will have to contact you. For a young child, you cannot say you will manage how somebody calls you, how much calls you, somebody calls you when the child is still very young, okay? But when the child gets growing, like you're saying, when the child is maybe school going or almost school going, when you know this child can actually perhaps talk also, okay? At the level when the child can talk, that's when I believe, for example, that child can maybe be brought to the man's house, like Doreen was saying, and the child can only be brought to in my opinion, I think the child should remain or should stay with the mom, unless the mom is a hazard, unless the mom is toxic to the child. Not to you, a man, no. To the child, okay? If she poses danger to the child, then yes, you can bring the child home if your wife is okay with that. But if not, I think the best thing is for everyone to go, in my opinion. But about the boundaries, okay? About when and where you should meet, okay? I think it is also, like I said, it should also be purely about the child. If I want to see my child, I do not have to meet you, the mother of the child. That's one of the things. I can send over the driver if, let's say, I have a vehicle, or I can send a friend to pick my child. I see her if I'm spending the day with her. I see him if I'm spending the day. And in the evening, this child comes back home. And vice versa. If, let's say, the child is staying at at the father's home, and the mom would want to spend a few days with her, or a day or some hours with the child, that can also be done. But initially, when the child is very young, okay, what I do not expect the man to do, you have to see your child, okay, in my opinion, you still have to see your child. I do not expect you to go to another man's home because you want to see your child who was born in that man's home, or to go to this lady's home, for example, okay, to see that child. You could meet, let's say, at the hospital when they have gone for this normal checkup, okay, for children. Maybe they are going for immunization. You go and be present as a father, okay, at church, for example, okay. Yes, at church. You could meet public places, yes.
Public play areas.
Yeah, public play areas. The only point where you would say it's private, okay, is in times of, let's say, sickness. It could be the sickness of the mother or the sickness of the child. Because when the mother is sick, she may not be able to take care of the child 100%. So maybe you could pass by to see how the child is, surviving in that difficult time. Or if the child is sick, you could pass by to actually see how the child is handling, is recovering. And that is purely when the child is still very, very young. Okay? Months and maybe 1 or 2 years. 2 years the child already is speaking, right? So there is no need to do that. There is no need to go there. You can always send for the child, they bring for you. But this first 1 year, those first months, I think it's important to also show that you are really responsible for your child.
Maybe just to come in, I need to maybe ask, what are the legal boundaries that have been already set for us to work around? So let's let's come up with what are the practical yet legal ways that they can manage co-parenting. Because I've had you say can come to stay with the dad when you are 12. And also mothers have right to stay with their children at a certain age. That mother breastfeeding. I think there's something to do with finance and all that. If you're financially able, who of the parties is financially able to take care of the child? An opinion will be drawn and who is actually capable. Legally, they will look at who is capable of taking care of this child. Let's also look at behavior. Because if the father is a known drunkard, is continuing to have extramarital relationships, probably the child won't be safe. If that family, or let me say my wife, is toxic, then probably the chances that this child is going to come visit me will be very minimal. So we wanted to look at what are the limitations that are there and what are the legal provisions for us to actually do co-parenting. Can you help us do that?
Thank you. We'll be back after the break.
Thank you for watching. Part 2 coming soon because cliffhangers are my toxic trait. Bye!
surviving. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul.